Hey, welcome to the channel. We hope that you enjoy today's stories and check out the chapters on the video to see all the stories for today. But before we get into this video, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to get notified when we release a new video. So let's get into the video.
People who had traumatic childhoods, what's something you do as an adult that you hadn't realized was a direct result of the trauma?
Experience 1. Getting overly attached to people way too quickly, which usually pushes them away and just destroys me over and over again. Experience 2. Self-doubt. Need for affirmation. Can't take criticism well. I spent most of my life being a good test taker. Now I find it difficult to have patience with myself while I struggle to learn/pick up new things. Experience 3. Overthinking. Predicting and preparing for worst-case scenarios. Having a higher tolerance for situations while also falling apart over tiny things. Refusing to let people stand behind me. Lack of trust for others. I am very prepared for people to drop and leave me without reason or warning. Oh, I forgot to mention you develop a physical need to help others. You want nothing more than to make others happy, to avoid or overcome every feeling as you do, no matter what it costs you. And you hope that you can make up for whatever it is you did to deserve it all. Experience 4. This may get lost in the shuffle or downvoted to hell, but here goes anyway. My therapist helped me with this exact series of behaviors, and while I by no means have solved it, I use a mental exercise to try and minimize its effects on me. Might help one of you, so here's what helps me. The mistake I made for a long time was seeing the overthinking as the result of a bad guy that lives in my head, perpetually telling me I'm a piece of crap, not worth love and affection, and genuinely am just a failure in life. I'll refer to this voice as Doug, just because, no rhyme or reason. I prep for the worst-case scenario in every situation, large or small, because Doug is constantly telling me that's how it'll go. Oh, Duck Lord, you're happy with this friend? Clearly, they're with you because you offer an excuse to kill some time, or you help them with stuff. They'll be revealing they never actually liked you pretty soon, because let's face it, you're not worth liking. And so, the authentic me will then mentally prepare for the friend to leave, because Doug has convinced me I'm not worth sticking around for. What therapy helped me realize is that my view of Doug as a villain to be defeated was totally wrong. He's not an evil demon spitting bile and negativity into my brain. He's not something I need to kill to be happy. Doug is not the bad guy. Doug is a super overprotective older sibling. Doug doesn't say things are going to go south because he hates me and wants me to feel crappy about myself. Doug says things will go south because he's the protective older brother who wants me prepared just in case they do, because he cares about me so much that he doesn't want me to feel the pain of rejection. So, in the earlier example, the more accurate way of looking at it is you like this person, which is opening you up to vulnerability. That runs a risk of feeling pain, which you absolutely need to be ready for, because I can't stand the thought of seeing you in pain. And when I look at it in that context, it helps me see Doug as the problematic older sibling that he is. His intentions are good, but his methods are possessive and damaging, and ultimately prevent any form of taking risks or personal growth. So, the exercise I developed in therapy is to speak out loud to Doug in times of pervasive overthinking, because speaking audibly has a significantly higher retention rate by your brain. I don't tell Doug,
"Piss off, you evil butthole,"
or
"I hate you,"
or anything. I recognize that Doug is genuinely trying to help, but his method isn't helping. So instead, I simply say,
"It's okay, Doug, you can stand down. I got this."
This is coupled with several other exercises I've adopted to help with overthinking, and I absolutely am still going to therapy, but something so simple as recognizing that the voice isn't bad, but rather an overprotective misfiring defense mechanism has helped a ton with my tendency to skew negative and overthink things. Essentially, by telling Doug to just stand down and relax, I give myself permission to approach the situation with openness and rationality. Anyway, that's worked a bit for me, so I figure if there's even a 0.5% chance it helps one person, it's worth posting. Edit. My goodness. I am so happy I was able to resonate with some folks. Thank you for your kindness. If it helps, I have a couple of additional resources that helped me a ton throughout my mental health journey toward not overthinking everything. For starters, a good entry point is this video essay by Kevin Smith, the filmmaker. Even if you don't know, or like, his movies, for me this was a fantastic starting point for understanding my brain and how it works. The essay goes into how Smith spent time in a mental institution and worked on his own trauma and mental negativity, and he explains a lot of the concepts he learned while there. I actually used a few terms and concepts from it in developing my own strategies with my therapist. I really appreciate how candid and accessible it is, so I highly recommend it. If you want an even deeper guide, I swear I'm not being paid or anything, my therapist recommended a book that has been really helping me called Stop Overthinking: 23 Techniques to Relieve Stress, Stop Negative Spirals, Declutter Your Mind, and Focus on the Present. It has a ton of mental exercises tailored for different personalities on how to calm the brain when overthinking too much. I am so happy to have been some form of help to some of you.
Do you like listening to these stories? Do you want to hear more of them? Then click that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And check the description for links to more videos and interesting stories.
Experience 5. Not sure if this is just really weird, but at work whenever I ask for a day off, from every job I've had, I give a detailed description of why and the purpose of needing it off. Finally, at my current job my direct supervisor would keep telling me, I don't need to know why. I did some reflection and realized that, in my youth, if I didn't explain things as far as being absent, feeling sick, or needing to go to the doctor, if I didn't have a good enough explanation, I was completely disregarded. It got ingrained in me to find the best possible reasoning behind nearly every choice I ever made. Experience 6. Something I do that I recently learned other people don't do is constantly pay attention to my surroundings. I listen for footsteps, doors opening and closing, people's voices, water running in the pipes, cars pulling into the driveway, and on and on. As a kid, I needed to know who was in my house and what they were doing. Experience 7. To this day, I still sleep on my stomach. When I failed the 4th grade, my dad was beyond pissed at his son being a failure. He told my mom to leave the house and had me drop my pants and take my whipping like a man. He beat me so long and so hard that the belt cut into my flesh and there were chunks that were hanging loose. I literally had to take a pillow to school the next week to sit down on. The teacher was concerned, so she called the principal, vice principal, and 2 other teachers as witnesses and had me drop my pants in the boys' restroom. They were horrified but didn't report anything when I told them why I was beaten. They told me to study harder to stop this from happening again. That was decades ago, but I still sleep on my stomach and never fail at anything I try to do. Experience 8. I do not prioritize myself. Be it health, time, or necessities. Everyone else in my life is ahead of me in the queue. This makes me seem incredibly helpful. Being helpful allows me to be present without being a target. Being helpful allows me to avoid my own problems because I'm too busy helping everyone else with theirs. Being helpful allows me to feel valuable instead of expendable. The only time I ever really take care of myself is if I know it will impact my ability to take care of someone else. It's the only way I've found to make healthier choices, and it's still barely enough. Experience 9. Being hyper-aware of anyone experiencing negative emotions in the room. I feel someone else's anger or depression very severely and feel as though I have to be the one to calm things down and keep the peace. Experience 10. Asking for permission to do literally anything, double-checking that I was doing the right thing, and always second-guessing myself. Like to an abnormal level. Experience 11. I can't have music up loud, like above normal speaking volume, and if I have headphones in, they're really low volume or I'm only wearing one earbud, just in case there's someone trying to get my attention. I'm terrified of being called for and not hearing it. Also, I apologize for absolutely everything and am a people pleaser to a toxic degree. Experience 12. I, male 54, always have it in the back of my mind that anyone who says they love me has an ulterior motive. Edit, I made this comment while on my first break at work at about 8 a.m. or so, and I'm just now, at nearly 5 p.m., being shocked and saddened by how many replies and upvotes there are. We all deserved better when we were kids, didn't we? I hope that all of you find the true love you very much deserve and never, ever, have reason to doubt that love. Experience 13. Eating very fast. I'm in my late 30s and I still have this problem. When we were given food, we usually had to fight siblings as there was never enough for us. At holidays, specifically around Thanksgiving, I lost track of how many times my stepdad would get angry and throw the entire turkey dinner away. For good measure, he would spray the entire garbage can with bleach so we couldn't pick it out of the trash. So, when you got food in my house, you would eat it as fast as you could before it was stolen from you. Don't worry though, had mountains of Pepsi products though. Experience 14. I only just realized this about a month ago. When I was a kid, I did poorly on a spelling test due to being sick. A couple of days later, my mom found out about it. I was raised by my grandparents, so she hadn't been kept fully up to date. At the restaurant, when my mother found out about the test, she grabbed a fork and jabbed me hard in the side. My grandparents did pretty much nothing in response. To this day, close to 4 decades later, I still spell random words in my head because failing a spelling test was worthy of a public stabbing. Experience 15. Something minor goes wrong because I made a mistake. I think it is all over, ruined, and everything is my fault. I feel I should just go crawl into a hole and die. Just thought on this again, and I guess that's why I like animal rescue videos, mother cats raising an abandoned pup. The after part is the transformation that some love and care bring. No one did it for me, but it warms my heart to see it done for another, no matter that they're not my species. Experience 16. Constantly being on high alert and hypervigilant. Edit as requested. For me, I have found that both of the above have presented in a sense of overanalyzing every conceivable situation, person, and environment for potential risks of harm or anything that might trigger such. An example would be a hesitation to engage and a massive lack of trust for other people in environments that would be scoping every area I'm in for potential threats and the easiest escape. And the trust thing effectively makes it impossible for me to maintain close relationships with others out of the expectation that they'll harm me in some way. As such, I have little in terms of relationships of any context with others and find it nearly impossible to relate to others. Generally, I spend my life constantly on high alert, or as some have noted, fight or flight mode. This can include some of the above right down to a refusal to engage in any given situation or circumstance that involves the unknown or a known risk. I know some others have different presentations than I do, however. I noted in another reply that these physical behaviors and experiences can result in physical symptoms. For me, that would be an unnaturally fast heart rate at all times. Another behavior I have been known for is constant people-pleasing, for obvious reasons. Experience 17. I try to answer questions and solve situations not based on what I think or want, but on what I think the person who asked them would expect or be more likely to appreciate. Related, I also have serious difficulty in making decisions. I must always weigh the pros and cons of everything and in the end, decide what is objectively the best thing to do that benefits most people and or causes less damage. I never manage to choose what I personally and egoistically want because I seriously don't know what I want. Sometimes because of the impossibility of satisfying everyone or not being discontent with anyone, my brain just crashes and I freeze on the spot. Experience 18. I move very quietly. To the point that people joke that I can teleport because I'm next to them before they realize I'm there. I scare the people I live with just about every day because they don't hear me enter a room. I also used to be able to just walk up on so much crap as a cop and prison guard because nobody ever heard me coming. That's a skill you learn when you grow up not wanting to be seen or heard. Experience 19. I chose not to have kids of my own because of the trauma my parents inflicted. That one I knew about. The big one I didn't know about was masking. Always being afraid to show my own personality, likes, feelings, or interests because I subconsciously feared that people would use them to make fun of me and reject me. I also have an aversion to obese people because one babysitter I had when I was 5 thought it'd be funny to sit on me until I couldn't scream anymore. She was about 300 pounds. Also not use spices in my food as an adult. Growing up in constant survival mode, food wasn't something I got to really enjoy. Experience 20. I cannot just sit and be. I took up crochet a few years back, and that helps. But my asshat parents, mom and stepdad, always demanded I be doing something. Hand washed dishes for a family of 6 daily. Vacuumed. Folded all family laundry. Swept, mopped, waxed kitchen floor. Cleaned the main bathroom. My bedroom was expected to be clean 24/7. I had to entertain my younger, by 6 and 8 years, brother and sister. I swear to Christ I raised them. I would make up games to get them to help me clean. I would take them to the park. Make them lunch, sometimes we'd picnic. We'd play games. Most of the time I didn't mind, but I was never allowed to just do what I wanted. Once, my mom was making dinner. In a rare down moment, I was reading a book up in my loft bed. Our house wasn't very big, but a few minutes in, there was my mom bellowing for me to come to the kitchen. I save my place, climb down, walk across the house, only to be told get me a stick of butter out of the fridge. Which the stove is 4 feet from the fridge. Could you not make that journey? I'm not here to be your freaking minion. And that's why I have extreme issues with just being. I feel that every minute must be filled with something productive, and God forbid someone else is working in the house, I cannot be still. I feel obliged to help, or I'm a lazy butthole. Working on it all in therapy. Actually, looking back over the past year, I think I've made strides. Sometimes I get home from work and just lay on my bed playing a mindless game on my phone for half an hour. I have tried very hard to parent my kids in the most absolute opposite way. Their downtime is not interrupted by me. I absolutely would never, ever, beckon to them from across the house to do something I could do in 5 seconds. Uneasy face. And I don't use them to be my house servants. The older kid did have to babysit often when she was old enough, but just for the limited time between school and when my husband got home from work. We wouldn't enlist her to be our go-to-sitter to go kick it on a Friday night. Phew. I have a lot of feelings about this still, and I'm almost 50.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. and ring that notification bell.